If you don't trust someone with money, don't date them. They're not your caliber of person. Increase the caliber of person that you're dating. Have more self-esteem.
Yeah, because if you date someone who's cheating with money, one day you're going to be married to them and the feds are going to come knocking on your door and they're going to be taking all your stuff. There are two types of affair. There's a physical affair and an emotional affair. Yeah. And I'm sorry, but I think an emotional affair is way worse than a physical.
I don't think that you should bring anybody that you're dating around your child about the time where you're engaged, and that better be at least 6 months. The statistics show that the people that don't live together until they're married, they're more likely to have a healthy marriage. If there is abuse and it happens in front of the child, she might lose her son to the son's father, who says, hey, I was okay to be out of the child's life for all this time, but there's violence in your house, so I need to take him.
Right.
And by the way, you need to pay me some child support.
And this is why you don't move in with each other until you get married.
Because the divorce court has jurisdiction to deal with this.
Right.
Otherwise, you're in a joint tenancy, and that's real messy and real ugly and doesn't work very well. It's a nightmare. We're going to talk about a girl who is a caller on the Ramsey Show that says, my boyfriend thinks it's okay to cheat. So this one's going to be good.
Hi, how are you?
We're having a blast. What's going on?
By the way, if your boyfriend is cheating on you, he's not your boyfriend, or if he is your boyfriend, when he becomes your husband, he will also cheat on you.
Yes.
Guaranteed.
Run.
Yeah.
So my question today is, I don't trust my boyfriend with money.
Okay. They're not your caliber of person. Increase the caliber of person that you're dating. Have more self-esteem.
Yeah, because if you date someone who's cheating with money, one day you're going to be married to them and the feds are going to come knocking on your door and they're going to be taking all your stuff. And you're going to be like, now I know why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do we have a future?
Whoa. I want to back that question up. Let's stop it. You added a second part to it that is not super necessary. You don't trust your boyfriend, period.
Yes.
What else do you not trust him on besides money?
I found like him on these like social media, like talking to other women.
He's cheating.
My first question would be, does he know he's your boyfriend?
Well, and my second question
is, are y'all dating and is this committed
why
relationship?
are you with somebody you don't trust?
Yeah. Well, and it depends on how much with. I mean, they're probably sleeping with each other and doing that whole thing. Otherwise, why would she be calling into a national radio show about her boyfriend? I mean, it's probably gone that far. But otherwise, I mean, you can date multiple people if you're, even me, I am a serial monogamist. If I am dating, or any time that I had one person I was interested in.
Right.
Now, that said, I did break up with one and go from one house to the other, but I broke up.
Right.
I did that, and that was in high school. Especially if you're online dating, you're going out on dates and trying out different people and meeting people and things like that.
Right.
That's one thing, and that's not cheating.
She needs to find out, are they exclusive?
Exactly.
So like it's not cheating.
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah.
Wow. What's his explanation? Because you said he doesn't think it's cheating, so I'm curious, what does he call that?
Yeah, I told him, I'm like, that's cheating. Oh, it's not cheating because it's not in a physical form. I'm like, you're like lusting over women you're seeing online.
No boy.
Bro, dude.
Not in a biblical.
Physical form.
But physical?
He said physical form.
Then I am in a marriage. In a marriage, absolutely not.
There are two types of affair. There's a physical affair and an emotional affair.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but I think an emotional affair is way worse than a physical.
I don't like either. Well, I don't think you can have
I don't like either, but I will tell you this much. I think I would be, as a person, more forgiving over a physical than an emotional. If it was like a...
Should I tell Daniel? Dan, don't watch this episode. We're live.
Me and Daniel have had these conversations
I know,
before.
I'm just kidding.
But here's the thing.
I'm not worried about that at all.
I don't worry about that at all either. But like, I
know this for a fact. Daniel loves you and is not interested in anybody else, and I don't think he ever would be.
No. You
are the love of his life. You're the only one for him. You've been the only one for him ever since high school. It's gushy and silly and awesome all at the same time.
He is the only one for me too.
Nice.
So, but yeah, no, I just think that when you get emotional, you're now unveiling stuff. That's like, I would be really hurt.
Yeah. Yep.
Because sometimes people are telling the other person they love them and stuff.
Oh,
like
I
that. You know, that's a.
Oh yeah, that's worse.
Yeah.
Those gas lights are burning brightly, aren't they? Listen, let me ask you this. So he's not here to defend himself.
No.
Yeah.
So let me ask you. You're the only person I got to talk to. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Why do you think so little of my friend Antonia that you're settling for this?
Yeah.
Well, it's not that.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Well, maybe you have a point. So
Maybe you have a point. Yeah, maybe.
I'm a single mother.
Yep.
With a 3-year-old son.
So, and that's even more reason you should be no nonsense about
Here's
this
another
stuff.
thing she needs to be worrying about. If this guy's out there doing all this stuff and he's saying that he's not having no physical relationship, and God knows she doesn't know for sure.
We'll see. Yeah.
What if he brings her back a disease?
Oh, I know.
Like, that happens
Oh, that's the biggest
all
worry.
the time.
Yeah. Oh, when we have cases where that happens. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm new to motherhood.
Mm-hmm.
Me and the father, it didn't work out.
So she's desperate for any man that will be there. Her self-esteem is very low.
She needs to be single.
She needs to be single.
Focus on herself.
She needs to have
her
enough
child,
self-esteem to get rid of this person.
and the right person will walk into her life.
That's right. And while you have the wrong person in the place, you only got one place for that person. While you have the wrong person there is no place for the right person.
Well,
God cannot give you the blessing he's got for you because you're filling it with something
Right.
else.
And here's another problem. She has a 3-year-old. That 3-year-old, one, she's bringing that man around her 3-year-old.
Right.
Her 3-year-old is creating a relationship with that person.
Yep.
And if that person's doing the wrong things, that 3-year-old's watching that.
Right. I don't think that you should bring anybody that you're dating around your child until about the time where you're engaged, and that better be at least 6 months. At least.
Yeah.
Injured my back at work. So, and I'm like, I needed this surgery. So I ended up gaining all of this weight. You know, like when you have a partner, you expect your
Gaining all this weight. So again, this is an insecure self-esteem issue.
partner to be there for you. And I feel like I didn't get that because, like, when I was off work for a year, when we have fights or anything, the first thing he brings up is, "Oh, I paid your rent." Well, I'm like,
So what? So now he's guilting you for coming in?
Yeah.
Oh, he's deflecting. He did something wrong, so now he's trying to come at you and justify it and take blame off of him and make you feel
trying
bad.
to say, oh, it's okay what I...
He is a reservationist for guilt trips. Flight attendant for guilt trips.
well, like, you might as well say you're a roommate because you live here. We're not married, you know. So
They're living together. That's the problem. Don't, especially if you have a kid,
No.
do not move in together with somebody until you're married. I'm a big believer in that. And
Me
the
too.
statistics always show there are people, and you'll live together, you get married, you can live together for 8 years, you get married, you're going to be divorced within 3,
Oh, yeah.
if not 1 or 2. Because everybody, when they're living together, you've always got that potential foot out. You're not really in there. You're more like roommates with benefits. It's just a different dynamic. A lot of times you're not mixing your money. It's all these different problems. And you've got all this precedent that you've set in the wrong ways. And you don't go through the right processes. And there are things that you miss. And it just leads to a divorce more often than it doesn't. And the statistics show that for people that don't live together until they're married, they're more likely to have a healthy marriage.
So he's a bit of security. Even though he's not treating you well, it's like, well, at least he's done that. He was, right.
Well, but here's the thing so it's really common that all these other stories that we were told eventually become the stories we tell ourselves. And you've got a narrative that you're worth less because you gained weight. You've got a narrative that because you got hurt and you reached out to the person who was supposed to be your partner in this adventure called life, called raising a kid, and he weaponized that against you and said, well, look at what I'm doing for you.
Exactly.
You have the story that you're a single mom and that you're now somehow less than. All the
Self-image is critical. And
Well, here's the
talking
thing.
about that story, she's got to work on her self-image and her story.
If he's living with her, then he should help pay the rent.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like,
He's
so-
only paying his rent.
Yeah.
Unless he's paying all the rent.
Unless she's letting him live there for free, and then, which is wrong on her part. And
Yeah,
so
as a single mom,
she
she's
asked him to
supporting him.
pay 1 month because she had surgery, and he's throwing it in her face.
Right. So now I can talk to other girls?
He needs to get the heck
Bye,
out.
Felicia.
Yeah, exactly.
those stories are false. 100% of them.
Yeah.
They're not true.
I agree.
And so I do 1,000.
She's got to work on her self-image, because all that stuff that she just said are things that she is telling her self-conscious, and every time her subconscious hears that stuff, the self-image shrinks.
Mm-hmm.
She's got to do some things that grow her self-image, which then grows her self-confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Percent believe that whoever you're dating is probably a lot of fun, is probably makes you laugh, and probably makes you feel loved, and all three of those things are amazing. And he's making other women feel that way too. And when you say, I have a need I'm uncomfortable with, he makes you feel crazy and stupid for having that thought or need or feeling. Not
She's got to get past that.
Supporting you.
Right.
Yes.
And so you don't trust him on a number of different issues. Money is one of them.
Well, and he's not one to be trusted.
Right.
The moment that you get that information, thank you so much. Next, what was your name? You're looking to screen out everyone who is bad for you.
Well,
she has the information. If she doesn't trust him with money, he's out. If she doesn't trust him with other women, he's out. The combination of the two, he's out.
Right.
And she needs to get rid of him as fast as possible. And the worst time to figure that out is, oh, you're dating, you're not ready to get married yet, so you move in together to test it out, and you know, move to that direction. Well, now you got to evict your ex-boyfriend from your own house. Not a good situation.
No.
And that leads to abuse and all kinds of problems. And if there is abuse and it happens in front of the child, she might lose her son to the son's father, who says, hey, I was okay to be out of the child's life for all this time, but there's violence in your house, so I need to take him.
Right.
And by the way, you need to pay me some child support.
Right.
Because my new girlfriend over here wants me to have a child, because I told her that you took away my child and you're the bad guy in the story. So now the new girlfriend, who is my sugar mama, is wanting to pay my lawyer to take the child away, and all these different problems. Don't get into any of this stuff.
Right.
I was a train wreck when it came to money, but I was a trustworthy guy. Does that make sense? I would never tell somebody like, man, that my husband spends like crazy. We figure that out.
You can fix that problem.
Right.
Intentionally, both together. I agree with that, because there are a lot of really good people who just happen to be bad with money. That's the whole reason that Dave Ramsey is in existence, really, is to help fix that. And that's why we refer client after client and human being, whether they're a client or not, and kids, all to go through Financial Peace University and Dave Ramsey's programs.
If I had said, and I was baiting you a little bit when I said, what else do you not trust him on? If you had said nothing, he's actually super ironclad, he's trustworthy, then that would have been a different answer. But you're not going to like this. At the end of the day, you don't trust you.
Yeah.
And I want you
I agree.
to reinvest in you.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
Let's
she
stay there
doesn't
for a
trust
second.
herself either.
Anthony, you called and asked us, do we have a future? You know the answer, but John's right. You don't
Exactly.
trust your answer, so you called these two yahoos to see what.
She's
She's
too
got
worried about having someone in her life right
She's
now.
got a fear barrier. She's afraid to be alone, and she's willing to
settle.
She's willing to settle just so that she doesn't have to be alone.
Don't
and because
settle.
it's difficult. Don't.
No.
Don't settle, because you're getting worse than even what you're afraid of.
I'd rather be alone than be with someone
Right.
who's constantly cheating on me.
Oh God, yes.
You know, and constantly in my head going, okay, who's he with
I don't
now?
think I would last through one cheating episode.
No.
I don't think I would last through it.
No.
I don't know. Thank God I'm zero worried about it. But I just don't know.
Right.
Our take was. But your answer is what? Do you have a future with this dude, yes or no?
I don't think so.
No.
I
Then
don't think so.
What are you waiting on?
It's a no. It's
a
not
definite no.
It's not I don't think so. It's no.
Yeah.
No, you're better than this, lady. Way better.
Oh yeah.
See, it's the I don't think so. John's onto something. You don't trust your own judgment
Yeah,
to kick this guy to the curb.
You're worthy of being trusted, dude. You're an awesome mom. You're a great employee. You're a good friend. You're worthy of being trusted.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Is that fair? And I'm not just blowing smoke at you. Hey, trust me, you've listened to this show.
I get it.
If you were
If there is anything that I can reemphasize, she is definitely worth trusting herself about that. She definitely needs to. Sometimes you just have to hear it from other people, because we're all inside our own box and you can't see what's written on the outside of your own box.
Right.
And sometimes you're like, hey, I'm pretty sure I know what's written on my box, but will you read this to me? And they're reading to her what's on that box. And it's absolutely true.
were out to lunch, we would tell you.
John, I'm asking a question on behalf of my friend.
Okay.
Just because we make a bad decision and we kind of take good judgment out of the equation for someone in a relationship
Doesn't mean you stick with it, and doesn't mean you can't
Right.
change it, and she definitely can.
doesn't mean that we have bad judgment the rest of our life. True.
No.
Absolutely.
False. Yeah. In fact,
But is that what's going on here? She knows it wasn't a good decision. Maybe she's made some poor relationship decision. Now all of a sudden,
I don't know that she's worried about making bad decisions for the rest of her life. I think this is more in the moment.
No, I think
she's just
what she's dealing with right now.
Yeah, and it's hard to kick him out, and she wants to be sure, and she's her subconscious, not her conscious mind, because her conscious mind knows, she knows, but her subconscious is messing with her because the subconscious equates familiarity with safety, even if it's not, and so him being there is familiar, and all she has to just tolerate a little bit more. It's the same reason why a frog will boil to death if you turn on a stove in regular water that slowly warms up and boils. It'll boil to death, as opposed to if you put a frog into a boiling pot, it'll jump right out.
Right.
Same difference with her.
Right.
Her subconscious is used to that, and it's more difficult to make the change, even though her subconscious also doesn't like it. But it's hard to overcome that fear barrier. And that fear barrier is designed to turn you back around as you're going from where you are now to where it is that you want to be. Mm-hmm. It's designed to turn you back around and send you back to where you were.
I do think she has a fear of failure too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she already had a relationship that failed with and she had a child,
and she's conceding to the fact, and her self-image has defeated to the fact of, I'm a loser because this happened to me, and so therefore I deserve this, and I'm not any better than that. Mm-hmm. And that's why I say her self-esteem is flushable. Mm-hmm. So she can do better.
Right.
And
I agree.
We are here to encourage her. If she ever watches this podcast, we are here to encourage you just like they're doing. You can do it. Mm-hmm. And it's, by the way, just listening to her, it's very clear. She's pretty clear on being able to enunciate these facts, and she's got a certain amount of clarity about it. Mm-hmm. She's just insecure and I think trying to muster up the courage.
Yeah.
And that's what she needs is, yes, go for it. Have that courage. Don't look back. No matter what, have that courage. You can do it.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, I just don't make good decisions, but that's not true.
Well, I think it's easy to, and tell me if I'm wrong, Antonia, it's easy to feel like you're a single mom. Someone's told you you've got these defects. I'm the only one that's ever going to love you.
All self-image problems.
I'm the only one that's paying your rent with my money. It's easy to make that that voice into your own voice, and you start telling yourself,
but she stands up to him.
Self-image.
But she stands up to him and puts him in his place, tells him to get his stuff and get out of her apartment and leave, and that she's better, she's worth more than this, and that's gonna, one, rattle him, and two, that's just gonna.
Well, here's the problem: is it's hard, and she probably has to be the one to leave, and so hopefully the guy has a job and is out of the house, and perhaps she needs to have enough money to hire a sizable enough moving crew
that the moving crew.
I get that, but that the moving crew. Step one is trying to get him out, which is more difficult.
That's
the
true.
easier thing is get a moving crew of 8 guys, professionals, that will come in and be able to pack her entire apartment and move it completely out in the span of 2 to 3 hours and move her somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then put in the termination notice at the apartment and be out or be done.
Right.
Or have him sign over the apartment because it's the decision's been made and this is happening.
Right.
And so if he doesn't leave and I'm not leaving, that's a difficult type of thing.
Right.
Hopefully he would be man enough to go ahead and leave or correct
but
his
here's
behavior
a question.
maybe. But
if he's not on the lease of the apartment and it's only her,
well, under Texas law,
call the police and have him.
No. Not if he's been there for, I know it's at least, I don't know because it's not my area of law.
Right.
But I believe it to be 30 days. It may be, and every different jurisdiction is different.
Right.
And some places it's if they've stayed overnight, you have to evict them. In some places you can't evict somebody for any reason because of the politicians that are in place. There's some places it's 2 weeks, some places it's 30 days, but you have to check to see what that jurisdiction is, but you would have to go through the eviction process. But but worse, what if it is they sign the lease apartment together? They didn't ask that question. Right. They may both be on the lease. And then what happens if you want to terminate and they don't? Can you unilaterally terminate the lease or not? And what happens if they renew and you don't?
Right.
So what happens then? And then what happens if you terminate the lease but they don't move out? The thing you're risking is a full eviction that goes on their record and yours.
Right.
Or you have to pay for their apartment forever.
And this is why you don't move in with each other until
Correct.
you get married.
Because the divorce court has jurisdiction to deal with this.
Right.
Otherwise, you're in a joint tenancy, and that's real messy and real ugly and doesn't work very well. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Sounds like a nightmare.
That's right. And then somebody walks along and they're willing to give you half of themselves. Right? I'll tell you I love you. I'll tell you you're pretty. I'll help pay you the bills.
And brag
you start
about
to
It's a lie, and you know it's
Right.
a lie. You can't function
think
with
that's
lies.
all. And want credit for
You're
it.
getting me for a discount, baby.
Exactly. And you start thinking, well, this is all that I'm ever going to get.
Yeah.
This is all this is going to be.
100%.
Again, it's all self-image problem. She's got to work on that self-image.
Yep.
And when this is especially real in couples that experience infidelity, people often think that like finding out that your person you're married to or you love cheated on you is the most devastating part. That is devastating. But the most devastating long-term thing, I think, is you lose trust in yourself.
That's probably why you feel that an emotional affair is worse than a physical affair.
I can't believe I missed that. I can't believe that I'm worth this little. I didn't even know what a loser I was. Like you lose trust in yourself, and it's hard to do anything. It's hard to get a job. It's hard to stand up with to your kids. It's hard to do
self-image.
anything in your community because you feel so small. And so I want you to hear Ken and I telling you, stand up, man.
Yeah.
You're worth too much. You got too much value,
Absolutely.
and somebody's going
Yes.
to recognize you for who you are. And I also don't want to blow smoke at you. You probably need to go talk to somebody.
So this is a
Yeah.
good example of one what we would tell to end the relationship. Because that's not, I mean, look, if they want to go through marriage counseling or something like that, but boyfriend and girlfriend versus marriage counseling, they've got.
There's no use to going counseling with someone like this.
And the fact is that, they're not married.
No.
So before you get married, end this
She's
type of relationship.
dating a player.
Correct. Yes, it's very clear. Very clear.
And he has no goal of
No.
nothing but playing.
Right.
Probably need to get a group of women in your life where you can practice
She's
standing
go
up
to
on your own
church
two
and
feet
he's a
right
serious
now.
guy.
The greatest gift you can give somebody in the future is you working really, really hard on you in this
Yep.
season. Is that,
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Like
This is the type of thing that allows you to exclude someone from the dating pool with you before you're married.
Right.
know it's like he weaponized because I like I'm a victim of molestation and things like that. So he uses that, and that I have
Oh my God. He's using the fact that you were a victim of molestation against you. Drop him
Oh my
like
gosh.
a bad habit.
Oh my
anxiety.
gosh.
done. Hey, anybody who weaponizes that sort of pain,
Yep.
done.
Yep.
Done.
Exactly.
Yes.
Thanks, guys, because
Get the out of there.
all four of us
He's
agree with you.
manipulating
Done.
you. You know what? James would
Yeah.
never allow it, but if we had time, I'd call the guy up for you right now, break up with him for you. I would
Exactly.
dump him.
So literally, here's the interesting thing. I do that for a living. I have done that on many occasions. So she could actually call us and hire us to do that as long as she's in Texas. Because we're
in
licensed in
Michigan.
Texas. She's in Michigan. But either way, actually, she could still call us, and I can't file documents or argue in court without a local attorney. I have to file paperwork and get admitted to do that. But I actually could do this
She doesn't need
for
an
her.
attorney for this.
But
She just needs to
she
break.
needs to just do it.
dump
Yeah,
his butt.
Exactly. Well, but we do have clients that do need an attorney to do that, especially once you're married, and depending on the
Yes.
circumstance, there are plenty of times where it is better if we do it, and we try to do it in a very understanding and polite and good way. But
I feel bad for her.
I don't. You know why I don't? Because she just got the best advice in the world,
No,
and
she
all she
did.
has to do is follow it. And if she follows it, then I feel happy
Well,
for her.
I hope she does.
I do too. And this is the Lawyer Dana Show.